Welcome to the process. It is Monday, June 14th. And I think that we're looking at potentially the second to last process show. We're going to have two games today for sure. It's game fours, Atlanta, Philly, Utah, and the Clips. And then they're going to run it back again on Wednesday. So we'll be doing a process show there. But if one of these teams win both of those games, that'll be it. I don't think that we're going to have any more two-gamers, and we're not going to have any more. So this could be the second to last process show of the year. I don't think we're going to be sticking around for baseball, but we'll see. We'll see where we're going. Hope everybody had a good weekend. I am struggling a little bit coming off of this weekend, but that's fine. No coffee today either. The hydration station today. We're doing a little bit of water, so I don't have a ton to talk about right out of the gate. I didn't watch a ton of basketball actually over this weekend. So I'm ready to dive back into it now that we're going back to the work week, back into Monday. Full slate of stuff today. So process show, contenders, strategy show, live before lock. Be touching it all. It's going to be a good one. But right now I think we should just dive in. So rise and grind. Cheers, everybody. Grab whatever you need. If you're joining me on this day with a little bit of water, it's probably the way to do it. Let's break down some rotations. Let's run some crunches. Let's find out some optimals. Cheers, everybody. Let's have some fun. Hawks are the first team up, and this one is pretty easy to me. Although I do need to cut into Clint Capella's minutes a little bit. I want to transition those a little bit further. Oh, by the way, to the people that are here, thank you for hitting the like button. If you haven't done it already, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Let's tweak this Hawks rotation a little bit. Capella not playing nearly as much as I had been expecting him to. I think we probably just want to give those minutes to Gallo. Kevin Huerter, though, 32 minutes, not going to work. Solomon Hill at 17, not going to work either. So we need to get a couple minutes less to Kevin Huerter. Let's say 28. And then I'm going to take 4 here and 6 here. I'm going to take some minutes away from Solomon Hill. And that should flatten out Atlanta a little bit. And if we take a look at the Hawks, Bogdanovich, 6,700 on FanDuel, 6,400 on DraftKings. Both Bogdanovich and John Collins, in fact, across FanDuel and DK are the two best Hawk options. You can make a case for Trey at 9,700 on FanDuel, but I think that Bogdanovich and Collins are just slightly better values. Half point to, 2 full points for Bogdanovich. I think he's got a pretty high standard deviation now that I'm looking at it. 9,200 for Trey on DK is completely functional. Completely functional. I don't hate it. It's pretty close to a neutral play. Get some music on in the background too. Bang. There we go. Pause that. Unpause that. Now we're talking. Oh man, where is Capella in this series? If he's just going to continue 28 minutes, 7,300 on FanDuel, 7,100 on DraftKings. That's just not a great price for him if he's not going to play upwards of 34 minutes or something. He's overpriced at this point. So the priorities coming out of Atlanta, I think, have to be Bogdanovich and Collins. I mean, Collins played 33, 35, 34 in these first 3 games. No reason to suspect otherwise moving forward. Same scenario for Bogdanovich. I mean, he's gotten up near 40. I've got him in for 38. I think you can go either direction there. And I don't have much of a preference between the two. Collins and Bogdanovich that's a coin flip on DraftKings. It's a little bit easier to get to Bogdan on FanDuel, but those two guys are the 2 best options by far. So now that we've got Atlanta out of the way, let's head to the Clippers. See if they can pick up another W. Interested to see where this series goes. All right, so Rondo no longer in the rotation. Patrick Beverley is. We're going to bump those minutes up. Got to move some Terrence Mann minutes around. Got to take those Boogie minutes away. All right, I think we look okay there. We got a lot of changes, actually, for the Clippers. They really did make a lot of different moves here. So we're going to take Reggie Jackson up to 30 minutes. We're going to take Pat Bev to 16. We're going to get Terrence Mann in also at 16. That leaves me too short, but I got to move some of this around. Actually, it might just be those 2 minutes. Now we have so much more to change. The Clippers rotation, what a weird team. Just wholesale changes through the playoffs. It's kind of nuts. Batum's minutes waffling all over the place, but now back well north of 30. So we're going to give Batum 34. We're going to keep Kawhi and Paul George at 28 minutes, or at 40 minutes rather. And then I just have to discount Luke Kennard. 14 minutes, bang. That's simple. I think we're set here. Rates are going to be the same. We don't have to worry about Rondo any longer. So let's look at the Clippers. It's a big game for the Clips, too. If they go down 3-1, I don't think they're coming back again. Wouldn't expect it. So Paul George, 9,200 on FanDuel, 8,600 on DraftKings. Probably my favorite overall Clipper. I just don't know what we're supposed to do with a Kawhi Leonard $11,200 price tag on FanDuel. That's so silly. It's so cost prohibitive. So Paul George looks miles better than Kawhi on FanDuel. Marcus Morris, Reggie Jackson, 2 generically mid-tier options. Batum on DK at 4,500. Marcus Morris at 4,300. You can find a lot more value on the Clippers on DK than you can on FanDuel. But this Kawhi price is just dumb. It's truly dumb. I don't know why I'm selecting Denver there. There we go. Atlanta and the Clippers. Atlanta and the Clippers. So we've got... I'm in the wrong table. Filtered that entire thing. Didn't even realize I wasn't looking at the table that I wanted to look at. Let's try this again. Atlanta and the Clippers. And there we go. So we can see how these guys stack up against each other so far. You can see on FanDuel, Bogdanovich, Collins, and Trae Young all ahead of everybody from the Clippers. Paul George is close, though. He and Trae Young are pretty similar. On DK, though, that's when you get Marcus Morris climbing to the top. Probably the best value option. You get back to that Collins-Bogdanovich combo, and then it gets kind of murky. But Kawhi is like an actively negative play in my eyes today on FanDuel. And yet he's still going to show up in like 30% of lineups because you have to roster 2 guys. All right, so let's move to Philly then. This one we do have to pay pretty close attention to because no Danny Green, and that's pretty important, at least for the projections, because we're going to get some value out of Korkmaz for sure. Potentially a little bit of value out of Thibault. So we got to bump Korkmaz right away, 24 minutes. No brainer there. I think that we could hold at 14 minutes for George Hill. I'm going to give a couple more minutes to Shake Milton. We saw Shake play 21 minutes this last time out once Danny Green went down early. And then I think we just get like a relatively... I'm going to give 2 more minutes to George Hill. I want to get him to 16 instead. And then just like one rotation of Tyrese Maxey being just a volume scorer popping in there. And then I think we just assume that Embiid's going to play, pretty big minutes. And speaking of Embiid playing big minutes, 11,200 for Embiid on FanDuel, 10,500 on DraftKings. Definitely my favorite Philly option. The fact that Korkmaz is 4,700 on FanDuel is criminal. That's not fun. 3,500 on DraftKings makes a lot of sense. He'll be pretty popular as a value play. Philly's in a weird spot. I was expecting more value, but look, it falls off a cliff on FanDuel. Embiid, Simmons, and Harris. How could you justify wanting to spend 5,500 on Seth Curry today or 4,700 on Korkmaz? I would just much rather... Hey, you just have to find... the Clippers value is just so much better than the Sixers value. On the DK side, though, getting to Korkmaz at 3,500, that's just so simple. You still get the other pay-up studs. Shake at 3,200. I like that value heading into game 3, and now I like it even more now that the minutes seem to be a little bit firmed up. $3,200 Shake. There's a lot of upside there. If he can be playing, I have him in at 18 minutes. If he gets those 21, even better. Not a lot of failure options for Shake at 3,200 on DraftKings. That's a really nice price tag. It's kind of what I was expecting on a Korkmaz on FanDuel, but no dice. All right, so we get Embiid in that same sort of Trae Young Collins tier, unfortunately. And then on DK, there's just not a lot of highly ranked. Korkmaz is sort of the best option. Philly doesn't look good on DK. Man, these crunches are going to be fun. Let's close it out with Utah. This is the easiest one. So we check out Utah. Ooh, wrong window. There we go. Q tag on Conley. What do we know? How close is he? So we have no idea. I'm going to assume Conley is not playing today. Has not played in the series yet. I'm going to move forward as if he is not in, which means we'll continue with the current rotations that we have. And most of this is going to be pretty simple. We're going to bump up Royce O'Neal to 36 minutes. We've got Clarkson in for 30. We've got Ingles in for 32. But I think most of that just looks fine. The Jazz are just such an easy team to plot out. There's just no, they don't do anything weird. Like we get a very minimal amount of Derek Favors, George Niang, and Mia One, and then that's it. So Bojan Bogdanovic on FanDuel, definitely the best Jazz option at 5,400. Clarkson, though, not far behind. Price is finally coming down. 5,800 for Clarkson. On DK, I think Ingles is at the top of the heap. Got 28 minutes this last time out, but should really have been, 31. So, yeah, the value on Utah is like all flipped around because I'm not interested in $6,100 Jordan Clarkson nearly as much as I like him on FanDuel at 5,800. Same thing for Bojan, more expensive on DraftKings. Donovan Mitchell is $700 cheaper on DK, looking similar across the board there. Not the best pricing on this slate, which is kind of weird because it looked like there was going to be some value, and there just doesn't appear to be. Like if we just sum this up now, highest Jazz guy is Ingles, and he's the 7th ranked guy on DraftKings. That's craziness. And then on FanDuel, you get to Bojan, but he's still behind. I don't like it when they put both Bogdanoviches on the same slate. It's not fun. Anyway, let's run some crunches. That's what we're here for, right? We're through these rotations. We know what's going on. It's game 4. Nothing crazy going on. Let's run a FanDuel crunch. To the people that are here, if you have not yet, please hit that like button. It would help me out a ton. You know how much I like seeing those numbers climb. Let's run a FanDuel crunch. Boop. All right, optimal lineups on FanDuel for today. Trae Young, Jordan Clarkson, Paul George, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Bojan Bogdanovic, Matisse Thybulle, which I think I need to fix. Do I have Thybulle's minutes too high? Thybulle played 17 minutes. Yeah, I gotta take a minute away. Take him to 19. Let's see if that changes anything. Because I'm not entirely sure. I think Matisse Thybulle should be in my optimal. But we'll find out. Could just be a positional thing. Nope, he stayed. Trae, Jordan Clarkson, Paul George, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Bojan Bogdanovic, Thybulle, Collins, Morris, Capella. I don't trust that Capella one at all. At all. All right, let's run power rankings. Interesting power rankings for today. The Bogdanoviches, big priorities on today's slate. All right, so we're pretty stable here. Bojan Bogdanovic at the top of the heap. John Collins, Marcus Morris, close second and third. And then it's a big gap. The gap between Marcus Morris and Jordan Clarkson is pretty sizable. 6% is a lot. So, and then it falls off significantly even further from there. So these top 3 guys, pretty firmly my top 3 guys. Then we get to Clarkson, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Batum, Trae Young, Reggie Jackson, Tobias Harris, Joe Ingles, Capella, Paul George, Royce O'Neal, Danilo Gallinari. But if you're looking for the core, it's Bojan Bogdanovic, John Collins, and Marcus Morris. The Bogdanovi. What up, Cantor? All right, on to DraftKings. We're going to be in and out pretty quick here today, guys. Not too much to look at any longer. So getting an idea of the slate, getting an idea of the optimals, that's the true value now. All right, optimal lineup on DK wins by 0.2. Bogdan Bogdanovic, Jordan Clarkson, Marcus Morris, Nick Batum, John Collins, Trae Young, Joe Ingles, Paul George. That's a wild lineup to me. No Sixers. No, even not getting to Korkmaz is crazy. He shows up in the second one here. You take the 0.2 of a point step down, but that's a really balanced lineup. I think it looks good. Like, there's not a hole there where I would immediately want to swap off of someone. I really like that lineup a lot. Obviously, if Mike Conley ends up in, it changes, but right now it looks really good. All right, let's check out power rankings. Power rankings on DK. All right, so I'm not, while I like the optimal, I am not at all comfortable with some of these exposures because you end up on a lot of mediocre. Marcus Morris at the top of the heap on DraftKings. Nick Batum, a relatively close second. Then we get to John Collins. We get to Bogdan Bogdanovic, that is. Joe Ingles, Trae Young, Furkan Korkmaz. So that's where we get Cork showing up as the preferred legit pay down option. Donovan Mitchell, Paul George, Joel Embiid, Kawhi, Boyan, Rudy Gobert, and Reggie Jackson. So, look, I mean, it's not fun to see Marcus Morris show up there, but he's 4,300, and I expect him to play well north of 30 minutes. So, for now, Marcus Morris is that dude on DK today. 1 to go. Let's knock out Yahoo, and then let's get out of here. Yahoo Optimal. Bang. Yahoo Optimal. We've got, wow, it's no Sixers again. Trae Young, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Donovan Mitchell, Joe Ingles, John Collins, Nick Batum, Clint Capella, Marcus Morris. Yahoo Optimal by 0.8 of a point, and no one from the Sixers. I just didn't expect that at all. Not one of those guys. Let's check the Yahoo Power Rankings. Lack of Sixers being in the optimal is really not appealing to me. Nick Batum fighting with Reggie Jackson for the top spot on Yahoo today. We got Batum, Reggie Jackson, Collins, Ingles, Mitchell, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Trae Young. They're all the 40-plus percenters, but it's looking like Nick Batum is that number one contender on Yahoo for today. All right. Jeffrey, what's your question here? What are their target scores? What do I have in? 6.25. So just to hit it quick. Kawhi needs, let's see, 64.5. I don't know, like 9. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 9 points. But guys, that's it. We're getting through this pretty quickly. It's just, we know where we're at now. Rotations are pretty set in stone. Value is going to be tough to come by today. It's going to be a pretty hard slate. And I'm going to have to dig into the Sixers. I assumed with Danny Green being out, we would open something out. But, man, it did not really happen. So, contenders videos, they will be out shortly-ish. If Conley plays, the optimal changes dramatically. Joker. Contenders videos out shortly. Strategy show at 10 a.m. with Laffy, and then back for live before lock tonight. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you starting your day with me. Again, no process show tomorrow. It's a one gamer. So we'll be back again Wednesday for potentially the final process show. So make sure you're coming. Big time energy on Wednesday. We're going out with a bang, I hope. Thank you guys for being here. Good luck today. I'll talk to you later.